Hello, everyone. This is Susan Damiani. I'm Director of Gift Planning at St. John's University and the Director of the McAllen Society, which is our legacy society. And today I have the distinct pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Simon Muller. Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
Good to see you. I haven't seen you in ages. Normally I see Dr. Muller at, the various functions on campus. And, obviously due to the pandemic, we haven't been gathering in person. So I'm really excited with many of my video interviews. I get to see some of my colleagues and the executive team through the lens. So it's nice to see you and see that you're doing really well. Let me just give you a little bit of a brief background on Dr. Muller. He is the Provost and the Vice President for Academic Affairs. He's University Distinguished Professor and Endowed Provost Chair. Simon came to us, thankfully, in 2011, appointed tenured professor at the Department of Biological Sciences. And then in 2014, he was elevated to Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Research, and in 2015 became the Senior Vice Provost, and then 2019 he is now our Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. He's published more than 80 research articles and book chapters in prestigious journals. I thought this was really cool. He is an assigned inventor on 17 patents, very impressed, and he held his BS and his PhD at the University of Leeds, Department of Biochemistry, MS with distinction at the Imperial College, Department of Biochemistry, and Management and Employment Law, University, how do you say it? Stavanger? Yes. See, I knew you'd say it better than me, in Norway, which of course, you can't tell by your accent, but Simon is Norwegian. So let me start by asking you, Ed, I know many of you out there probably know, but believe it or not, I do get this question posed to me many times. What is a provost?
Yes, that was a good question. I ask myself that question sometimes too. So the word provost really started in the 12th century, in fact. And it was often classified as the keeper of the prison, which is interesting. Of course, it has evolved since then dramatically.
I hope so.
It certainly has. So, a provost is really the chief academic officer. So everything to do with academics fits underneath or underneath the office of the provost, right? And it's broad. It's everything from student affairs to academic programs that students take, to hiring faculty and retaining faculty, working with the deans, working with institutional research, working with grants and sponsored research. So it's everything to do with academic programming and everything around that. So
Great.
it's complicated. But
it's a lot of responsibility.
There is a couple of things, yes. But that's what makes every day so interesting, because no day is the same.
And now with you coming on, your third year, and I have to say, wow, to come into this position at a time, unprecedented with the pandemic. Have you seen it, 3 years, like your first year and now, this third year, what has been the change or the differences taking place now in the academic environment?
Yeah, so, when I started as provost, I thought, okay, there's going to be some changes, and there was a lot of changes. And it can be challenging, right? You have to make decisions with counsel, with other people, of course, but it's a very complex organization, and it's a pretty tough job. Then when the pandemic hit, clearly the complexity level increased dramatically. But I've got the question many times from many people. Boy, Simon, you chose the wrong year to begin. I turn it totally around. I think it's the best year to be a provost, because every time you go towards a challenge, And every time you're faced with a difficult decision, and every time you have to make difficult choices and have challenging conversations, and you don't really know what to do because nobody's done it before, you can't pick up a book off the bookshelf and say, let me look at page 15, because here's what it says to do if COVID-19 becomes a pandemic at St. John's. You don't have that book. So the experience you gain, new people that you meet, you get to understand people better, you get to interact with people differently. It's a great learning experience. So I'm taking the positive side of this.
That's great. I think you saw Tony Robbins' challenge, 5-day challenge, because you sound just like him. Because I was just listening to him the other day, and he said that in life, you're always going to be faced with problems, but it's the problems that make you better. It's the problems that determine, your careers. So you're absolutely right. These challenges, sometimes we can't look at them as, to turn away from them or look at them as a negative. It could be a positive, time, like you said, to reflect and see what we're doing at the university. And we were all talking about the other day, a lot of my colleagues, how, before, the thought of doing a webinar or using some of this technology, at first it was like, ooh, it was frightening. Everyone wanted to stay away. We needed IT to help us. And now I'm sure with the online classes and even, with meetings and so forth, it seems like it's everyday, occurrence now. It's nothing really new. And that's my question to you with getting the online classes. I know we already had some of them in place, but what was that like going from, in person to online?
Yeah, that's a period of time that I'll never forget. But again, I want to put a positive spin on this, because I think situations like this bring the best out of people, not the worst out of people. It's the best out of people, and it's the partnership model. And that comes now to your question. So, when COVID-19 hit early in 2020, we had the first communication go out to the university community on the 20th of January. And following that, we always had in our heads, we have to be proactive, but let's, in a situation that has to be reactive, right? Let's get ahead of what's happening all the time. And we did that very successfully, I think. We formed an academic task force. We realized immediately that we have students in Europe, in Rome and Paris, and in Limerick and Ireland. We need to make decisions now, getting them back before it really gets bad. And that's what we did within a week. And to get to your question, within a week, we brought the students back. Within 1 week. And within that week, we converted all the classes from face-to-face to online. Now, that one was not done by me. That was done through a partnership. And that comes back to, it brings out the best in people. Nobody expected this to happen. We weren't ready. We watched CNN over Christmas and we said, well, it's happening somewhere else. Or were we wrong? But we turned around and said, okay, how can we help each other? How can we convert the classes to online? So the academic task force has really worked very hard with the academic units, the different schools and colleges, with the faculty, always being open and transparent. This is what is happening right now. This is what we suggest that we should move forward in this pathway. And faculty have been amazing. They have converted their classes to online when we had to during the spring. They've adapted to a hybrid model for the fall and adapting even further towards more in-person classes now for the spring. So just to put some numbers to this, for the spring, as you know, we were online. We worked very hard even during the summer, and faculty members, they don't have to be here, they were here working with us. And we turned it around to allow almost 70% of our students in the fall to have at least one on-campus experience if they so chose that that was the right thing for them. Same thing now in spring. 46% of our undergraduates for spring have the opportunity to be on campus. That does not come automatically. That comes through partnership. It comes through the willingness to believe in our students and that they deserve to come to campus if they so wish. It is so easy to turn that switch and say, let's go fully online. I could do that today. And we will close down the campus. There'll be no issues and life will continue. But that's not right, because we serve our students. So that was a long answer to a relatively short question, but we have successfully converted the classes that we had to convert to online. Faculty have taken all the certifications. They even took it over the Christmas break to be ready. So when I look out over the Great Lawn and see the folks coming back now, it just makes me smile.
I bet.
And it's a typical St. John story. We are so strong together.
Yeah, and I heard that from the students when they were comparing St. John's with other schools. They said that our COVID rate was next to none compared to other schools, and they are really enthusiastic to come back to campus. I think the majority are really not afraid to be in person because, like you said, they want to have that campus experience, and that's what they signed on for. So it's nice that they do have that opportunity. And I think there are more students, right, in the spring now coming back to campus. Is that true?
Correct. The different semesters vary in terms of how many students are in fall compared to spring, but about 70% of students will.
So how do you feel, how did St. John's measure up to the pandemic, and what's the foreseeable future?
We if we take the first part of the question, I think we did really well. Could we have done things differently at some days? Of course. But again, we haven't got a book we can pick up off the shelf. But I feel we've done really good. And, a small example that this exemplifies the partnership model. If I look out the Great Lawn right now, I can literally see students walking around with their masks on, alone, outside. That is not a given, but they believe that this is our responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've programmed things correctly. I think we've got everybody involved. Everybody feels ownership to keeping St. John's open. Moving forward, we are planning for a normal semester for fall 21 that we are doing. Are we ready to flip the switch if we have to? For example, let's say in a month's time, the UK variant runs rampant in Queens, and our test cases go up because we are testing every day, and we have a testing facility on campus now. Let's say we get over the limit that Governor Cuomo has set, then we have to close down for 2 weeks. We can do it overnight. We have all the plans ready from every single school and college and every unit that we can do from one day to the next, from face-to-face to online. Once 2 weeks are over, we flip the switch again and we go from online to face-to-face. But fall, we're planning for a normal semester. And boy, is it going to be great.
That's great. And then what happens in the fall of 2021? If, say, everyone is vaccinated, which I don't know, but we can only pray, and that starts to change, maybe that UK variant, I don't know, goes away somehow, or doesn't reach our borders and things settle down. Do you think it would be more of a percentage of students coming on campus, or still that hybrid model?
No, I think there's several ways it could go. As I said, we are planning for a normal, a pre-COVID semester, right? Mm-hmm. So fall 21, we are planning for full operations again. Now, if we can't do that, then of course we have to, keep some of the hybrid courses in online modes. There might be students that want to continue with a hybrid model. And we have to be flexible then and say, that's okay. We will figure that out for you. So I think moving forward, higher education is going to be different. I think students have seen now that online can work for me. I might have a job. I might have looking after a family or siblings. They might want to have an online course and then have one face-to-face that they didn't even contemplate doing before. So they can still have the on-campus experience and fulfill other obligations they have to do. And we have to be ready for that. So we're also planning for that sort of, not an a la carte menu, but moving towards that, right? To say it's not this pathway of rigidity, but it's you can start here and you can jump off here, you can come back in here, you can jump down here, you can come up here, and then you graduate in 4 years and you can still do everything that you have to do in life, plus do your education at St. John's.
It's more flexibility, right? More flexibility for the student.
Absolutely, and that's another great thing about COVID. And I don't want to say it's great, because it's
Right,
terrible.
right.
It's absolutely devastating for so many people. But we have to be able to recognize the positives from negatives. You know, my grandma always said, and I love my grandma. She always said, look, Simon, when I was depressed and I was down, I had too much work at college and I went to visit them at the weekends. They said, Simon, why are you so stressed? Why are you so stressed, dear boy? And I said, listen, Grandma, there's so many problems and it's so difficult. She said, listen, from every bad situation, there is something positive that comes out of it. And I hang on to that because that's one positive thing from COVID-19. We have been forced to be more flexible. We had it in us, but this has really brought it out.
I agree, forced to think outside the box, even with our operations. I mean, look, I never thought I would be doing so many video interviews, and I feel like Oprah Winfrey, but it's been fun. And as I mentioned to you, I love the video interviews because I feel a lot of our members can see us across the country, even out of the country, and they may not been able to ever meet you. And now because of this, they are. But I mean, it was the pandemic that brought us to this, environment situation. So now we can have the hybrid where, we can have an event and our donors can attend, in person, but then we also could probably record it or give them a virtual experience for those that are unable to attend. So it's great. So everybody, can share in the moment, which I think is really nice because I'm all about team and bringing everyone together. I don't like to leave anybody out. So this is great that they're getting to hear firsthand because I get asked all the time when I'm speaking to our society members, like, how is St. John's? Is everyone okay? Are the students okay? How are we doing with the pandemic? Are the students learning online or offline? Because, they see other universities and what they're doing, and they're just wondering how we're doing. And obviously, they're donors and they have a lot of loyalty and commitment to St. John's. So it's important that they're well informed. So I can't thank you enough for doing this, taking time out of your busy schedule to join me today. But you sort of answered the question, but just again, in terms of higher education, there's so many industries that are changing, fashion, so many because of the pandemic. And I know you mentioned a couple of them, but really in years to come, is recruitment changing now? Because now you can recruit students for total online courses, or we're not going to go that way? Are we going to really, try to encourage people to do hybrid? What do you see? And also, I know I find when, students were watching, what is it, CSI, everyone wanted to suddenly, major in that particular area. Have they been inspired by healthcare workers? Is everyone now signing on to science or, health sciences or anything? Have you seen an uptick in that area?
Yeah, there is. I don't think we've seen an immediate uptick, but I think that's also because there are so many challenges that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis that we can imagine, but we can't see it and sort of feel it every day. But we will see an uptick, and as you know, Susan, that we have one of our priorities is really professional health sciences, which spans all the way across the whole value chain. We want to continue to build that because I think we have a very good brand. I know we have a very good brand, but we want to build that brand even more and then put it into really a solid platform so that when anybody thinks about professional health sciences in the New York area, the first thing that should pop into their head is, I have to go to St. John's. That's what we're going to get to.
Great. And I'll help you fundraise for that.
Excellent. We do need help. And that sort of that segues nicely into your first part of your question. Where's higher education going? Recruitment and so on and so forth. These are challenging times. Every university has a deficit, budget deficit. Students are worried. Not just worried, should I leave my house? But they're worried, will my family have money to pay for my education? And that's real for people. That's real. I have a folder of emails from students, tragic stories, absolutely tragic, losing parents to COVID-19, for example, looking after their siblings, and they're 19 years old. We have to be sensitive to that. And, that then translates into less tuition dollars. And I think at St. John's, we're managing really well and finding innovative solutions, but recruitment is going to be challenging moving forward. We have a whole new strategy this year coming up to fall. It's going to be as challenging, if not more challenging than last fall for recruitment. But I'm optimistic, very optimistic. We have some great new initiatives and we're seeing some traction. I think in terms of higher ed in general, everybody's doing the same thing, trying to think outside the box. So we're not unique in that respect, right? I'm not going to pat myself on the back here and say that St. John's is the only university thinking outside the box and trying to think new. I think what we have an advantage is that we have the mission that is more true today than it was 150 years ago. It gets stronger and stronger every year. We have great individuals at St. John's that don't just come to St. John's because it's a job. It's part of our life. I can't imagine working anywhere else. If I am asked to leave St. John's, I will go back to Norway. That is a fact. Because there's something special about St. John's. There's something special. And I think that having a platform as the base, the world's our oyster.
That's great. So what, as we close, and thank you again, what would be your parting words to our society members that are listening to today?
First of all, I want to thank them. Thank them for their support, their loyalty. Again, this is a partnership. We are partners when things are going well. We have to strengthen those partnerships even more when we go through challenging times. So I can't thank the members enough. To still be engaged with us, reaching out to us, asking the right questions, and they deserve the answers. I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to sit here today, albeit virtual. I think we have a great future at St. John's. I think we're going to come out of this pandemic stronger, much stronger, and we're going to plot the path moving forward. And I hope the members will engage with us as we move through that pathway together. We can only do it together. We cannot sit here on the Queen's campus and do it by ourselves.
Exactly.
We can't. We need everybody's help. But I'm really, really excited. I'm really excited with a new president coming in, seeing the students back on campus today. I went down to look at the testing in Tafna. The students lined up outside, 6 feet apart with masks on. They're being tested today. They were tested yesterday. They're going to be tested over the weekend. And there are so many exciting things happening. So I hope that the members stay in touch and keep engaged.
Thank you. And best of luck to the spring semester for you, your staff, and all the students. And like you said, we have a lot to be grateful for, and St. John's will only get stronger. So the society members, you're listening. I would really love to get some of those stories that you were receiving from some of the students that really want to come to St. John's, but were hit very badly with the pandemic and their circumstances have changed, because maybe we could share that with some of the members. And you're listening, please recruit new members. We need to get new society members and to keep the society growing. And if you can help us, maybe they can help some of the students that reached out to Simon. That would be great to maybe make their wishes come true, because that would be something nice, a nice gift to give to them. So thank you again. And please don't work too hard, but we know you're there working for us every day. Thanks.
Every day. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
You too.